Ocean. If I knew that,
what's going on? This is supposed to be a Lincoln hat in lieu of our talk.
Oh, okay.
But it's too big.
Just a little bit, but it looks good on you.
I look like a pilgrim. I don't look like Lincoln. Maybe if I switch it to the side. So we're talking about my favorite thing in the world to talk about. And so, therefore, I have to do it in my Gettysburg room.
Of course.
I'm not in my Paranormal Brew studio. Here, we'll put this on him. So here's a hat.
Love it.
We'll put that on. We'll put that on Scully with a C. He's got a Gettysburg hat on too. So yeah, we're in my Gettysburg room, and I'm wearing my one of my Gettysburg shirts.
Now, how many Gettysburg shirts do you have?
I can't even count. Half of my closet is Gettysburg, and the other half is the Redskins. So, hi, everybody. How is everybody doing out there? Thank you so much for joining us. Please ask questions, whatever you want. You have 2 people right now that know a lot about Gettysburg. So let's. I want to start. First of all, talk about yourself a little bit, Mark, about what you're into, and talk about your research also, as like with the cemeteries and stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't really like talking about myself as much.
I know you don't. Yes.
Well.
Because the way you research impressed me very much. Like all the stuff you have. I mean, you, the cemetery stuff. I want to talk about how you do your cemetery stuff, and then we can talk about Gettysburg for sure. But I want people to know a little bit about you.
Well, grew up in Midwest, live in Indiana, northern part, just a few minutes away from Michigan. Pretty much been in love of Civil War ever since I can remember. Been to Gettysburg when I was 6 years old, and I was just pretty much hooked. And from there, ever since then, my family, we've gone to pretty much every Civil War battlefield you can think of. I think there's been like 2 or 3 I haven't been to, but you name any major Civil War battlefield, I've been to it. Been to all the way from Fort Sumter all the way to Appomattox. But Gettysburg is our home away from home. We use it as our hub. We usually just go to Antietam, DC, Bull Run, Fredericksburg, everything from there. So
Gettysburg is the best, though.
Oh, of course it is. Gettysburg by far is the best. Second, my other favorite is Antietam.
Antietam's pretty cool.
It's a huge difference between Gettysburg and Antietam. Gettysburg, the town is restaurants, hotels, ghost tours, souvenir shops. Antietam, nothing. Sharpsburg, the town, nothing.
Right.
But they do have a great ice cream store there too.
Well, you do have Tommy G's.
Yeah, I prefer Rita's.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What's so impressive about a creek?
Oh, it's Italian ice and one of the best yogurt.
No. Lee said a creek. What is so impressive about a creek?
He knows what I'm talking about. He just doesn't know because he's a Reb. He thinks there's stuff happening in Sharpsburg, but the town was around the outside, so he knows better.
So yeah, but we don't even care about that. We just care about Gettysburg.
Oh, of course.
I'm kidding. We care about all of them, but Gettysburg is number one.
Mhm.
I was in Gettysburg for 8 days one time by myself, and I was just like doing whatever. And I figured, let me check out some other spots. Like I have a day that I can maybe pull myself away from Gettysburg and just kind of, you know what I mean? I have extra time. So I did go to Antietam. I went to Harper's Ferry.
Oh, gotta love Harper's Ferry, especially early in the morning.
I wasn't impressed.
Really?
I was not impressed with Harper's Ferry. I'm sorry. I did like Antietam, but I went through it and I just wanted to get back to Gettysburg. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was cool. I loved it. There were some cool buildings. I loved some of the monuments and some of the historical buildings, but I couldn't wait to get back to Gettysburg.
Okay.
There's one place that I went out there that was a medical museum, but it was in a house. And I can't remember the name of it. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. And you drive up, and supposedly the guy that lived there, I believe, created the like the map for the hospital horse, like the carriages. Created the ambulance routes. And I think Sickles' leg was there for a little bit. And I don't know if they had it or they still have it, but I can't remember the name of it. The Pry House. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was there now. It's in Walter Reed Medical.
Oh, Jonathan Letterman. Yes. He was there. I think that's where he lived, maybe, if I'm remembering right. And Sickles' leg was there. And I remember driving up to this house and I was like, whoa. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, there's a monument towards Jonathan Letterman right on the eastern part of Gettysburg next to the Walmart. That's where the medical camp was at, medical field.
Was where now?
On the eastern part of Gettysburg, Jonathan Letterman, he was one of the medical doctors, surgeons, head surgeon for the Federal Army. And all around Walmart area.
At the house that I went to?
No. Yeah. The Jonathan Letterman, the guy.
I heard of Camp Letterman, yes.
Yeah. That's where it's at. Around Walmart area is where the medical field was at, medical hospital.
I'll have to check this out. I've never been.
Yeah. There is markers, placards in around the whole
wait a
parking
minute.
lot.
Is this the area you can't go, where it's like privately owned? You're not allowed to go there?
Yeah. The whole Walmart area is the whole medical field, the hospital. And then in around the whole parking lot, you'll see placards all around saying this is where this area was at. This is where
there's some area on 30 coming in where like all the stores are and stuff, like it sits back where there was something happened there, but you can't go back there or something.
No,
I don't know. No, Tommy, that it would be, I believe, the Tilly Pierce house is what. And the soldier that was thought to be dead, found alive, that was in a barn, I believe.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that I'm not.
So that's two different stories. So the one story, I think, with the limbs was the Tilly Pierce house, because she wrote a book about it, being able to see the limbs going up to the second floor. I can't hear you. Or something. There was like feedback or something. You hear? There's like feedback.
I'm not hearing anything.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's just me.
Or maybe it could be a ghost.
Oh, maybe I hear Jess.
Oh, probably.
And then the body the guy that they thought was dead was really alive. And he was like, the rumor is that he was there for 3 days yelling for help. And then they found him. But by the time they got to him and got him help, he had died shortly thereafter. But I think he was thrown in one of the barns before they could like bury them or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was in one of Mark Nesbit's books. I think it was his number one, his book 1 or book 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he was from the 5th Maine Artillery. Oh, he was from my husband's like from my husband's state. I enjoyed Gettysburg area. Initially, the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash served my husband. Yeah, that's so awesome. The bash is amazing. Lisa and John Chase. I don't know what that's for.
That could be that soldier, but that what Lee's talking about.
Oh. So tell everybody about. Yes, I do. I know. He has a link. I had a Lincoln hat, but the Lincoln hat's too big for both of us. I was going to wear it and I was going to put it on him, but it literally looks like a pilgrim hat on me. Like I look like a pilgrim. I don't look like Abe. And it just covers his entire head.
Well, I do have an Iron Brigade hat because I portrayed the 24th Michigan. That was my very first unit when I started Civil War Reenacting.
With who?
The 24th Michigan Iron Brigade.
Oh, yeah, the Iron Brigade.
The best regiment in the Iron Brigade.
I love the word. I love the name Iron Brigade. So tell everybody what you do with cemeteries. I think this is very interesting. Before we start talking about Gettysburg. Because I'm interested in the pirate flag thing too. That's interesting. Never heard it. But let's talk about what you do with cemeteries.
Pretty much before we before I do a cemetery, I go research local cemeteries around Wisconsin. Okay, that's the second best league. 24 still the first. I go in, look at local cemeteries around my area, and then I see what kind of historical stuff. What's the oldest? Who's all there? What I usually like to start out is on the app called Find a Grave. That's probably one of the best apps out there to locate loved ones, family members, history, and everything. So right. I start there, and then I go to the library, go to the websites. I talk to other local historians, museums, try to gather as much information as I can on prominent people, Civil War soldiers from and other wars, Revolutionary all the way up to now, dignitaries, pretty much anyone interesting. Also, if there's any unsolved murders or unsolved mysteries or why this person's buried here and it's still unknown to this day how this person was died or got killed.
And his his research, how do you file that?
All in my head.
Huh?
All in my mind. I write it down.
Don't you have you write it down?
Yep. I write it down and then I just have a notebook and I start reading. I just start talking about it. Or what I do is I choreograph it so I can just have it all in my mind and I just read it out like I'm acting and stuff. So I don't have any notes next to me.
Don't you have like books that you keep it in?
No, not really. I just have just a notebook.
Oh. All right. So what's the coolest grave in Gettysburg that you've found?
Coolest grave? Well, there's one grave in the Soldiers National Cemetery.
Okay.
It says remains of a unknown Civil War beings. It was back in 96, 97 is when they found some bones from the railroad cut.
Shut up. I got to go there now.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where I got my picture.
Yeah.
That's what Mark Nesbit said to me. He said that it very well could be because the last known Confederate grave was found on the railroad cut in 1996.
Well, they're thinking it's either Union or Confederate. So, but they're thinking it was either from Davis's brigade or either from the 6th Wisconsin. So we don't even know. We don't know who it was, what unit, if it was North or South. But our unit, 24 Michigan, was had the distinct honor, along with Confederates, to go there and bury the Civil War soldier. And the keynote speaker was James McPherson.
That's awesome. You were there when they buried it?
Yep. I was there a few months before I became a reenactor myself. My dad was in marching out there. So
Mark,
I got to meet.
You never told me this.
No, you never asked.
Well, I mean, like, I shared my picture with you.
I think I sent you pictures of the 24 next to the casket.
No.
Because I do have pictures of that.
Is it downstairs?
It's somewhere.
Mark, you've never told me this.
Oh.
No idea. That's so cool. So now here this guy is buried. And is that where that story comes from? Supposedly there's only one Confederate grave in the cemetery in Gettysburg?
I believe there's like 2 or 3 that are Confederate soldiers buried in the soldiers' cemetery. I believe so.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So I believe there's like 2 that I
Whatever, Lee. Wait. Whatever, Lee. I thought there was only one. I learn something new every day.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. Can't think of the names offhand, but I know they're in my notes and stuff.
Some people were saying that little Miss Jenny Wade was a Southern sympathizer. I hear.
I tell you, the Battle of Gettysburg has the most controversies ever.
Yeah.
And I just can't believe it. I mean, anywhere you step on that battlefield, there's a controversy.
Yeah, that's true.
And General Sickles is the king of controversies.
The who?
General Sickles.
Yes. Yeah.
And they also said that Chamberlain has controversy as well.
No, they better back off my boy. Here's the thing. The controversies surrounding him are so loose. Like, oh, people are like, no, he didn't say scream bayonets. First of all,
He didn't.
You guys ran out of ammo. Who the hell said this? A guy all the way down at the other end? Like, there's so much chaos going on. How can anybody say that he did or he didn't?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people say
And
he
who
didn't.
cares?
Right.
Everybody fixed bayonets for a reason, and they won. I mean, at the end of the day, like the conspiracies are like not the conspiracies, but like all the shit surrounded around him, they're like not significant. It's like, who gives a shit?
Right. I know there's a lot of controversy with the Oats Rock, where his brother was supposedly wounded right behind the enemy lines. I mean, and then there's talk that Oates wanted a monument commemorating his boys, and he wanted it someplace where, but Chamberlain was like,
oh,
no.
Me and Lee are gonna fight.
Oh, now he found someone else, because usually he's fighting me.
Listen, in the heat of he didn't change his story that many times.
Who didn't?
He said he changed his story too many times to really know what happened.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, both Oates and Chamberlain never met each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they corresponded by letters, but they never met.
Yeah, there's no way that anybody can argue that Chamberlain was an excellent. I'm not even gonna. I'm ignoring Lee's comment. But they charged them without ammo and secured little round top. I don't care how the hell he did it. He did it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And he was the commanding officer. So to not be in that situation and have so much hearsay going on and have so much of that, you have no idea what really happened.
Right.
You know the end result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unless you were there to witness it. I mean,
I was married to him. So I got the real story when he got home from the war. Okay. just remember all the stories who came from the guy. He lived.
Yep. Lived until 1914.
Well, after the war is fine. I mean, he could be whatever he wants after the war, but like, don't argue what he did at Little Round Top. And see, according to Spears, like, I mean, it's all people's opinions, and it's all people how you perceive something. Which, you know, in the heat of a battle and this and that, you have no idea. You're like, you're just trying to do what you're supposed to do, and he did what he was supposed to do.
Right.
Well, I will defend my man. Anyway, so, oh, come on. They're all heroes. They are all heroes. Just because he was mortally wounded doesn't make him more of a hero. So, in my eyes, Chamberlain's wearing a big cape. He's Superman. How he survived that?
Right.
All right, so let's talk about the pirate flags.
I know you've been foaming at the mouth when I told you that one.
Yeah, pirate flag. Why was there a pirate flag? Sorry, that was
a. Well, there was one regiment in the 11th Corps, the 54th New York, not the 54th Massachusetts, but 54th New York. It was a German regiment, and they wanted to be different from the rest of the Union regiments. What they wanted to do, instead of wearing blue, sorry, my dogs are going nuts. They wore black uniforms with white in the middle. And what they wanted to do was to create havoc and pretty much scare the living crap out of the Confederates. So what they did was gather black powder and water, mixed it together, kind of like a old version of war paint. And what they also did was fly the skull and crossbones flag along with the American flag, and then just pretty much just scared the crap out of the Confederates.
So did that tactic work?
It did.
Interesting.
Their monument is on Wainwright Avenue on the southern slope of Cemetery Hill.
And is there anything piratey about it?
Here's their monument, right?
Yep, I know that one.
Yep, that's the pirate. That's the pirate regiment.
So they were like dressed as pirates, like they, or not dressed like pirates, but were portraying a pirate-like look.
Yep. So.
Well, and I'm sure everybody was like, "Who are these guys?" Right?
Right. They said that they were doing it since 1862.
Oh, so people knew who they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
What is all this? Chamberlain hating, Eagles loving. Like, honestly, I can block y'all. The skull and bones was the maritime battle flag of the Knights Templar. Interesting. I'm kidding. I'm not going to boot you.
Well, my team probably will never go into the Super Bowl because my team's the Lions. So.
Well, I'm the Redskins, so.
Well, at least you guys won a Super Bowl.
We've won 3.
Yeah, 0 for me. So.
Well, after Sunday, the Eagles will still need to win 2 to catch up to us. So, anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about Gettysburg. My goodness, Scully. He's acting up tonight.
Sounds like it, or looks like it. Now, a question for you. I know you love Little Round Top. What is your second favorite spot on the battlefield? So now that you can't go in Little Round Top, and for another, who knows how many more months or year, whatever. I mean, since they're taking so long restoring houses as well, not happy about that one. So, and then I guess they found a 3-inch ordnance cannon rifle.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, my phone was blowing up. Lee was one of them. Was talking about it. 3-inch ordnance rifle.
On fire.
So
Yeah, Rob was just telling me about they found it. They had to blow it up though.
yeah, what is it? Explosives unit from Virginia had to come out and blow it up.
That's so crazy. I do have to address this. So the 2 shows that you've been on, like I literally have been in this room. I just have the light off. I'm not in my normal studio room because I'm doing Gettysburg. And anytime I talk about Gettysburg, I want to be in my this is a Gettysburg room. So I have like all kinds of Gettysburg stuff surrounding me. I call it my Gettysburg room. So I feel like I have to kind of be in my Gettysburg room if I'm talking about Gettysburg. But otherwise, I'm in my studio. Back in the 80s, I trained at the National Fire Academy at Emmitsburg, Maryland. I spent many hours at the battlegrounds in Gettysburg. I had so many emotional experiences. It's a very special place.
It is. Pretty much anywhere you go on that battlefield, you can feel something. It's very emotional.
Don't even say that because when they closed, it was going to be 18 months. Don't even say it's 24. I heard it's going to be reopened in 2024. I can't even. Don't.
Oh, it's sad we're going to be there in May and won't be able to go on Little Round Top.
You can't go to Big Round Top either.
Right.
You can't get to Big Round Top either. I love Big Round Top. Big Round Top is so awesome. Walk up there. There's monuments up there. When you get to the top, you really can't see much because of all the trees. But I've had a couple experiences up there, and I think because it's mostly less traveled spot. I feel like the places that are less traveled in Gettysburg are the places that are more active, spirit wise.
No, I think Pickett's Charge is probably the most.
You think?
By far, yeah. Because I really don't like walking on Pickett's Charge. I did it a couple times. I did it a few years ago with Jess and a couple of our friends. Drew was one of them. Another good friend of mine, Christy, she was there, and Kat. And I just have a hard time because every time I go on there, I always feel like there's some kind of presence. It's hard to describe it, but
maybe you have a connection with General Armstead.
Possibly, yeah.
He was mortally wounded there.
Well, that's my mom's favorite general. That's like her husband, just like you and Chamberlain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my mom is a huge Armistead fan. She adores him.
Yeah, well, maybe that there's the connection there. So the 150th reenactment in Gettysburg, I was blessed to be there. You got to walk Pickett's Charge with the Confederate Army. And let me tell you something. I'd have faked it. I would have went down early on. I'd be like, oh, I'm hit. And then waited for everybody to keep going. And I would have crawled my ass off the side. I'm even kidding. I don't know how they didn't rebel. They were rebels. I don't know how they didn't rebel against that. Like, no, everybody knew it wasn't going to happen. But I will tell you, I've had experiences at Pickett's Charge. I remember one of the first times I was there, which made me fall absolutely more in love with Gettysburg, as if that's possible. They used to have a bench in the middle of the field, kind of like not where the angle is, but more over here. And I remember going out there and I was sitting on this bench and I was just staring into the field, and I literally lost time for 2 hours.
Yeah, I can believe. Yeah,
I didn't think about a thing. I didn't hear anything. Like I heard maybe in the background noise, like I heard like normal natural sounds, birds and cars driving by, but I didn't pay attention to it. I literally thought about nothing, and it was so peaceful. And I thought to myself, how is this place, such a place, so peaceful for what happened here? all those deaths like so quickly. Like how is this so peaceful? And then, and then I found Chamberlain's quote about how the spirits linger. And
that's one of my favorite quotes.
Oh my God, it's the best quote, and anybody that's like that hates on the paranormal, because their history wackadoos, which they are very smart, but I mean, come on,
Yeah, we're considered ghosties to most of the
give me a
battlefield
break.
tour guides and other park rangers and stuff.
Listen, they won't admit it, but they've had experiences.
Oh, I'm sure they have. They just, like you said, they don't want to talk about it.
So yes, I agree. They were very brave. They were very brave.
Mm-hmm. I know one of the questions looked like they wanted to ask about Sally the dog.
Yes. Well, most of the regiments had mascots, didn't they?
A few of them did. Yep.
And there was one that didn't have a dog. They had something else.
I know one of the Wisconsin unit regiments in Vicksburg. They had an eagle or a hawk or whatever. They called him Abe.
Abe?
Yep, Abe.
Abe.
And then there was one Confederate regiment, or was it artillery? They had a camel as their mascot.
A camel? Where'd they get a camel from?
Good as guess as mine. I don't know.
Where'd they get a camel from in 1863?
Yeah, I know it was one of the Confederate regiments that had a camel, but Sally the dog, she came from the 11th Pennsylvania. And she was a Brindle Bulldog Terrier. Do you know where Sally is located? Have you seen her?
She's at the, it looks like one of the Irish.
No, that's a Irish Wolfhound.
Oh, I get Sally confused with that one.
Yeah, that's the Irish Brigade's monument.
Right.
So they had 2 Irish Wolfhounds. So
where's Sally?
Sally is going to be located on the first day's battle, close to where the observatory tower, the very small one, the short one, close to it, right by the Peace Light Memorial.
Oh, yes.
So
I thought I saw Tom on here. It's Fam Wow. I was saying Yo Fam, it's Fam Wow. But yeah, so where she's at, we've actually had some experience there too, where not Sally, the other dog. What do you got? Oh, yes.
Yep. That's on Doubleday Avenue.
Yes, Doubleday Avenue, which I stayed at the Doubleday Inn.
Now, what's interesting about that monument, when they were getting that built, the soldiers were looking at it and they were missing something. Sally was not first on there. They put her last because they were missing something. They were like, we need to get Sally on that monument because that was their dog. Because on the first day when they were repelled back to Cemetery Hill, Sally the dog stayed with the dead and wounded for the rest of the battle. And after the battle, they went over there to try to locate Sally because they couldn't find her. They thought either she was missing, dead, or taken somewhere. No, she was still there, but she was like found half dead. Unfortunately, she did not survive the war. Just before, I think a month before the Civil War ended, during the Battle of Hatcher's won, she got killed.
But she was alive through Gettysburg.
Yes. Yeah, she was alive. Yep. They nursed her back to health, and within a few months later, she was back.
It's amazing how animals survive. You know what else is amazing? Of all the times that I've been there and I've been paranormal investigating, I've been out in the field, I've been, walking around those roads and walking around and doing all kinds of stuff, which mostly people, I go live when I'm there. So mostly people are, watching with me and stuff. But like, I think I've only come, and this is my opinion, you know, that we stumbled across a foundation and a well, and it's back behind Spangler Spring. Behind that, I don't know what monument. Like here's Spangler Spring, and then over here is a monument. It's real tall. It's
Oh, it has to be the Indiana.
Indiana. So it's behind the Indiana monument, but like in the woods back there. We like crossed over a stream and then kept going. And there's like, we came across a well and some foundation. And
that's the, oh, know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The Tawny Farm or something.
Yes, it is. And I didn't know that. I thought I was like, holy shit, look at all this. This is so cool. Well, back there, I smelled a horse. Now, could there have been a horse? But then I heard a horse right there. That's the only time I've ever experienced anything animal-wise, considering how much I love animals, how connected I am with animals, and any other setting. It's weird. Like when I'm driving in my car and I see animals on the side of the road, like it's like I get a flash of like what happened to them. And it might be my imagination. I have no idea. But I get a flash of what happened to them like seconds before they were hit by a car. Or, you know, I get this thing and it gets me so upset. And I hate everybody. I'm cussing everybody out that's driving, you know, and saying they speed and this and that, you know. But there, I don't pick up on anything animal. You know what I mean? Like I don't. It's all, I don't even know what it is. I can't explain it.
I remember one time I was camping on the battlefield next to the Pennsylvania Monument, and it's so surreal actually camping on the battlefield.
I would give both of my boobs to camp out on the battlefield. And I love my boobs.
Yeah.
My niece is in the Girl Scouts, and I said, if one of your trips is Gettysburg, I am chaperoning that mother bitch. And my brother's like, I don't know if the Girl Scouts are ready for you. And I'm like, oh, we're going to be doing some ghost hunting at night for sure.
Yeah. I had the honor of camping on the battlefield 2 times when I was with the 24th. And there was one time I woke up probably around 2:30, put some logs on the campfire to keep it going. And then I started walking out next to the Pennsylvania Monument. And I heard a distinct dog barking. And I'm like, okay, it could be someone's dog somewhere. But I mean, it was pitch black. Couldn't hear anything. There was no cars. And then was doing some research when I got home about dogs barking. And General Barksdale had his dog with him as he was fighting against the Excelsior Brigade, Scygiel's old brigade during that time. And they stated that eyewitness accounts when Barksdale fell and died a day later, his dog was barking, trying to locate him.
Oh,
That's the only animal thing I've heard on the battlefield.
I honestly wouldn't have been able to live back then. I say, if I had a chance to go back in time, I say that I would love to go to Gettysburg like 5 days before that.
Mm-hmm.
And then like skip ahead during it I would actually probably want to be at Little Round Top just to picture and to see Chamberlain at work. You know what I mean? Like I would love to be able to just watch that. I probably wouldn't be able to be there longer than like 5 seconds because of everybody dying and stuff. But like, I'd at least want to see that for a second. And then I always said I wanted to then like jump ahead to like 5 days after. And I honestly don't know if I would be able to handle it. I don't know how that town managed to pick up all the, like they said that you could smell the smell in Philly of rotting flesh.
Yep.
Like you could smell it in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you think about, like, I have this little book of facts. It says Gettysburg's Little Book of Facts, and it's all numbers, or Gettysburg by the numbers.
Yep.
You can't.
That's a good book.
You have it?
Yeah.
I have it too, but you can't. It's not in print anymore. So you
Yeah,
can't.
I got about 80 books alone just on Gettysburg.
Well, this is this little tiny book, and it's just Gettysburg by the number. So it tells you, like, it tells you down to like what the animal, how much the animals needed to eat a day, and what their excrements were a day. You know, and you think this little town, this nothing little town, had to support this war for 3 days of all these men, you know, and animals, and you're like, how is Gettysburg what it is today?
There's one area when I was doing stuff on Gettysburg, you know, where the Quality Inn Motor Lodge Hotel is at. Right next to it, that little souvenir store, that shop. That area is where they burned all the horses at. So,
The miniature soldier where you can go in and buy.
that Flex and Flanagan's store where it sells all the souvenir shops. It's right next to Quality Inn.
Yep.
Yeah, that area was where they burned all the horses at.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I just.
So next time you go to Gettysburg, stop in that area and just reminisce. I mean, just try to picture that area where they burned all the horses at.
And there was a lot of horses.
Yeah.
That died.
Mm-hmm.
And that I can't imagine. I'm gonna go to that area and I'm gonna put a whole bunch of apples down so they can eat. Them. Hi, Todd. Ooh. Last summer, I heard some mechanical metal type sounds behind a tree between Cemetery Hill and Culp's Hill, and it was loud enough while a helicopter flew right overhead. There was nothing behind this tree. So that's interesting because I heard a metal sound at Sachs Bridge, like scrape a bridge. But also, I was going to say that Culp's Hill to me is probably I've gotten a lot of EVPs there. No, but not on the hill where the tower is. If you go past the tower and then go down the hill a little bit.
Yeah, right next to Forbes Rock.
All down there.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel it. It's just different. And I don't know if it's because it's not a lot of people go down there because they, you know what I mean? I mean, they're opening it up so you can see it now, you know, they're doing a lot of stuff to it, but not a lot of people would go down there, you know, because it just looked like woods. You didn't know there were monuments down there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But Culp's Hill to me is definitely probably one of the hot, like I've been to Triangular Field and I know a lot of people always talk about Triangular Field, but I've never had an experience in Triangular Field. Yeah,
we went to Triangular Field as well when we were there a few years ago with Drew and everybody, and we did the paranormal test there with all the stuff, the equipment, and nothing happened. So
yeah, I never had an experience. I've been there quite a few times, and I've never had an experience at Triangular Field. So, I mean, but a lot of people say they have. I mean, you know, I've had intelligent responses at Little Round Top. I've had intelligent responses. I call it the creek bed, but I don't know if there really is anything to call it, but it's behind Steinwire Ave, you know, behind like where Dobbin's house, like if you were to walk behind Dobbin's house and keep going straight, and there's a bunch of like storage units on your left. So if you go in there inside where the storage units are, there's a creek bed and I think on the other side is like a hospital or some type of a C-SPAN type of a building.
Yeah.
Stevens Run. Okay. I've always called it the creek bed. But I've gotten a lot of stuff, intelligent stuff back there. Where else? Little Round Top. I said Little Round Top. Little Round Top, Culp's Hill. Also, for some reason, and I hate New Jersey, so I'm not quite sure why this is, but I'm very drawn to the New Jersey monument that sits up on the hill.
Yeah, it's pretty much next to no one. You have to climb up a small hill to get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very remote.
Very remote. And it also, I feel like, and when I say I feel, I'm not a medium, I'm not a psychic. disclaimer. I have intuition though, because I'm a woman. So my intuition is better, is what I say. When I'm there, my intuition feels like, like you're being watched. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're curious, because not a lot of people go there, and I feel like the less traveled places are the places that there's more interest in us as well. East Calvary Battlefield. I love East Calvary Battlefield. Love it. Love it. That's probably my second favorite spot.
Would be that?
I don't know. It's so hard. That's a hard question, Mark. I don't know. What is your favorite spot?
Rosewoods. Wheatfield.
Wheatfield is another one.
Wheatfield and Rosewoods will probably be Jess and ours favorite area. So I mean, every time we walk through Rosewoods, the old trolley path, I mean, I can feel so much stuff, so a lot of energy, just everything. There was one time I was walking by myself at around 7 a.m, and it was like this haze came through the woods, and I had my sharpshooter hat on, and I just heard a distinct clicking noise of the rifle. It's like, okay, someone's got their sights on me, and that was really eerie, and there was no one around me during that time. And that's probably the best time. That's when I enjoy going to the battlefield, is when early in the morning, when it just opens up 6 to 8 o'clock, when hardly any people's out there, all the buses, no one's out there. It's just yourself, and you're just walking around. And
it's not yourself, Marky.
Huh?
You're not by yourself.
I know.
There's some boys preparing for battle at that time.
Oh, I'm sure. Yep. Right. I just enjoy that time of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy as enough, and as long as I've been going, I've never made it for a sunrise.
Really?
Only a sunset. So I need to make it for a sunrise. That's my goal in 2023. And I have to go to South Calvary Field. I don't know. Is this near East Calvary? Because maybe
no. South Calvary Field is on the southern part of the. You drove in by South Calvary all the time as you're heading towards Little Round Top.
I don't know that's what it's called.
Yeah, that's where Farnsworth had his charge with his Vermont guys against the 15th remnants of 15th Alabama and all that. That happened right after Pickett's charge.
So where would that be? That would be where?
Just before Big Round Top.
Before Confederate.
Yep.
Below Confederate Ave. Okay.
Yeah, just before you reach Big Round Top, you'll start seeing some cavalry monuments, and then there's a placard that says South Calvary Field, and then you're going to see a Vermont monument on your left-hand side, pretty much right next to, just pretty much in the open field. That's where it was at.
Emmitsburg Road. By the way, Lee, love that picture. I love that picture. So, okay. Now, when you guys go, your stuff about me having to go find, so I have to find the grave that they put in that was a Confederate that they found in 1996, because I believe I have his picture. Then I also have to go and what did we just talk about? We just talked about something that I didn't know. My ADD is crazy. Everybody's saying cool stuff. That's why I'm like.
South Calvary Field.
But you said I already seen it. I just don't know.
Yeah. You drove by it all the time, and I've stated stuff to you. And also, you drove right on the dinosaur bridge too.
Okay, let's talk about these dinosaur prints. Supposedly, there are dinosaur prints.
Yep.
In a bridge in Gettysburg.
Yep. And you stopped there, and then I was on the phone with you, and you were going live, and I was showing you where the dino prints. I think there's like 2 or 3 dino prints.
Yeah, supposedly there's 2. I said it's Jimmy Hoffa giving us the finger because that's what it looks like.
No, he's buried underneath the Renaissance Center, Detroit.
But there are 2 dinosaur prints in a bridge
Mm-hmm.
on the wall. Like
Yep.
there's one on one wall, one on the other.
Correct.
Didn't somebody say that there was like a baby one somewhere? Like a smaller one or a half of a one?
Not that I know of. That's the only 2 area. That's the only area I know that has dino prints. Is that
No,
right?
yeah, no, in this on the same bridge.
Oh, yeah,
Like 2?
yeah.
Yeah. So whoever doesn't know that, they're legit are dinosaur. Now, I was a blonde at one point, and I said, there wasn't, how do they know there's like, why wouldn't this be in a museum? Like saying, like, why did no, it was just the stone they found that they used to make the bridge had dinosaur prints in it. I'm thinking I'm thinking the dinosaur left the prints in the bridge, I was like, then I realized that they found the stone, and then, that just goes to show you how old the stone is around there.
Mm-hmm.
If that's where it came from, they used all the stones that, you can see where they, like for the monuments and stuff like that, you can see where they've, shaved off or cut off. I don't know what the right
Most of all those came from Devil's Den.
Yeah, you can. Well, you even driving through even when you're driving through and you get out, you can see all the markings and the rocks.
Yeah, the chisel marks. Yeah, there's one rock in Devil's Den, close to where the trough rock is at. There's a couple drill bits still inside the rocks.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm not sure if you knew this, but on the other side of Little Round Top, close to Company B's monument, it's called the Stonehenge of Gettysburg. Not sure if you heard of that or not.
What's funny is I recently heard of Company B.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, there's that song, he's the bugle boy, Company B, right? Is that where it came from? Because
no, that was World War One.
Oh. But yeah, there's a lot. I came across there's so much you could just walk around there, and there's so much you could run into. So much you could run into. There was one time I was with Dustin, and him and I were walking around, and like we came across a car, like the bottom of the car, like the wheels from a carriage, and like where the horse would get hooked up to. I mean, it was falling apart. It was definitely late 1800s, early 1900s, but it was just rotting away in the woods. You never would have known it was there. I said, it makes me sad, you know what I mean, that it's just sitting there, I mean, but what are you going to do? If you move it, it's going to fall apart. You don't want to move it. That's bad juju. Because you don't know what it's there for,
Right.
What I'm excited about is all the stuff we're finding at Little Round Top.
Oh, yeah.
That just goes to show you that they really, you think like people walk around and you're like, man, they've had to have found everything by now.
Oh, no, there's still tons of stuff still out there. It's just, I was waiting for a time when they were redoing Little Round Top, all that digging and stuff, if they're going to find something, and lo and behold, they found a 3-inch ordnance rifle shell. And I think that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Find all kinds of stuff, but that was still, it sucks that they
found the barn, they found the shell up in the wall.
Yeah, there was one barn that they found, it was a while back, and they actually found one shell right on the upper part of the barn too.
That was active?
Yeah.
That's so scary.
Mm-hmm.
You think about like anything could make those things go off.
Definitely. Especially for being over 100 years, 160 years. Yeah. So, I mean, still being still active and underneath the ground. I mean, you never know. You can be standing somewhere and there could be a live round. So, I mean, hell, anything.
Yeah. Gettysburg is full of, and you know what? Nobody will ever convince me. I don't care how scientific you are. So don't even come at me with it because I don't care. I feel it there. I've experienced it. I've seen stuff. I've heard stuff. I can't even like when I go on shows and people are like, "Oh, what's your favorite place that you've ever been?" If I, if I keep Gettysburg in the category, it's not fair because Gettysburg is my number one.
Mhm.
I have to remove it. You know what I mean? I got to take it out of the scenario because it's there. It's not going anywhere. Nothing will ever beat it. Ever. I don't care if I was somewhere and a ghost sat down next to me and was like, "Hey, what's up?" Still wouldn't beat Gettysburg.
Oh, even John Burns saw a ghost sighting too.
Well, there were Civil War soldiers that saw a ghost.
Yep.
Or claim to have seen a ghost. That's what I can't understand why the historians think it's so taboo. Like, why is the paranormal so taboo? I don't get it. I don't understand that. Paranormal raises money for these historical places.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They love the historical places. They respect the historical places. And they can raise so much money for restorations and all this stuff. And yet the historians totally shit on it, and it's so disheartening because we love history so much. We love historical places, and to have the historians or the people that are tour guides or even reenactors, you know what I mean? I know you take, not you personally, because you believe in ghosts, but I know reenactors take it as serious as I take my paranormal investigating. And I'm not going up to you like, "Oh, you're an idiot," because you're in character. You're not, you know what I mean? When I go to the reenactments, the guys that have the tents set up and stuff, you walk up, they're in character, living history. I'm not going up to them and saying, "Oh, come on, you're dumb. Stop being, you're not acting right now. You can talk to me normal." You know what I mean? I'm not poo-pooing that, So I just don't understand why the historians don't welcome us. There's a few, but for the most part, you know who I'm talking about. The people that are hardcore reenactors that and you're hardcore. I'm not saying that you're not, but I got kicked out of a group, a Gettysburg page group, because I was having. That's how me and you met.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that same group. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking, and all of a sudden,
all I said was, "Here's my page." I said, "I talk about Gettysburg all the time." I'm like, "You can go to my page. It's Paranormal Brew." I got kicked out because I said the word paranormal. They said, "You're not allowed to talk about paranormal on our page." Well, I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Because I think because a lot of people don't like it because it takes away from the historical aspects. All they want to do is try to create something or try to make up a story or something that's not true and say it's haunted and take away the historical. So,
well, how can it take away from the historical? Because without the history, you don't have the haunt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take away from the history. Because you need the history in order to have the haunt. Right. And that's the truth. You can't, I have a perfect example. I investigate, and I'm not bringing this up for anything bad. You need to back up, dude. He keeps falling into me.
Must like you.
He loves me, but he needs to back up.
Roscoe might get jealous.
He's not in here, just my cats. But so I went to Hell House 2 weeks ago, and they have no history of the house prior to 1969. So it's, for the paranormal investigator, it's kind of hard to not have any history of a place. You know what I mean? So history and paranormal, they go together. I mean, that is, you can't take the history out of it. We don't want the history out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that misconception is coming from. Is there like a grand wizard of like historians that tells everybody paranormal is bad and you're not allowed to like it because it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like half of the places we go to are historical sites and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh, definitely. I mean, when I do my events, that's one of the topics right around the campfire is either paranormal or the monuments or just politics in general and why civil reenacting is slowly dying and stuff. And it's sad.
what?
Civil reenacting, it's starting to dwindle.
Well, that's why I'm happy that the reenactments are coming back to Gettysburg, you know, because that's what started me. I went every year. I went every year for the reenactments and I was there for a week. And, you know, I miss them. I think the reenactments are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, granted, that's the only reenactments I've ever been to. I've never seen any other. I've gone to some World War II. Did you see this, dude?
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah.
I'm about to move you. You're like crowding the space. Scully, you've been around. Hold on a second. Let me move Scully. I was being nice. Oh, now I'm messing everything up. Anyway, now I forget what I was saying.
Oh, you're talking about you done Civil War reenactments, now you just done World War II.
Yeah. Like I've gone to like World War II, like World War II, like living history days and stuff like that, and encampments and stuff. But as far as reenactments go, I mean that Gettysburg is the only ones I've ever been to.
So I've been reenacting for over 20 years, and I've been Civil War. I've been reenacting probably since I was like 17, and been doing Civil War for all that long. And I just got into Vietnam reenacting. Been doing that for going on 3 years now, and I enjoy that. That's really interesting. So it's not really it's a different style reenacting. It's more of a living history, more of a heavy display, because we go in, we have pretty much everything that the non-vets do, but the interesting part is we can still talk to veterans that was actually there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard stories from them, and it gets emotional.
Yeah. Oh, I bet it does.
We have a huge event out here in Grissom, Indiana, Grissom Air Force Base by Peru, Indiana, and the vets that comes in, it's just crazy. They'll come into tents, and it'll just remind them back in the 60s, the uniforms, the guns,
So cool.
the tents, the cots, everything, and they just start breaking down. And then we just we sit down with them, we'll drink a beer, and we just listen. We don't even talk. We just listen to their stories.
Yeah. And see, and that's amazing. And that's what I don't understand, you know, that anybody I know that is a good paranormal investigator,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they love that. I mean, without, like I said, again, like without the history, there's no reason, like
Right.
my friend Rich said, you know, the history is what makes the investigation worthwhile. Without the story, why even bother?
Definitely.
So that's why I don't understand where this misconception comes from.
Right.
You know, I mean, Chamberlain said it himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you have all these, you know, reenactors or historians that just totally, it's like so taboo to even talk about. And it's sad because you know what? We could learn a lot from the historians and we could learn a lot from the reenactors, but because we're so, you know, we're so looked at like we're, I don't even know. I mean, you would know better than I do what they say behind our backs. It's like, what is it from West Side Story? a jet. You're a jet, or
Oh, I've never seen that one.
oh, it's an old movie, but you know, I don't understand because we could learn so much.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And because it's so, I was talking to Matt Atkinson.
Yeah, I told you about him.
Yeah, and he is a park ranger
Hmm.
for Gettysburg, for the National Park Service in Gettysburg, and probably would you say one of the top park rangers?
He's a very good storyteller. I mean, he energizes the crowd when he does his tours, because a lot of the rangers have this monotone, like, okay, this is what's going on right over here is where this unit was. Matt gets into it.
Yeah,
I mean, I enjoy listening to him. I can
yeah,
listen to him all day.
yeah,
And even the kids gets into it.
yeah. Oh yeah, he gets everybody into it.
Yeah.
Like he's like very. So I had the pleasure of meeting him and talking with him and stuff.
Mhm.
And I haven't asked him yet, but I am going to ask him to come on. And I don't know if he will because of the paranormal stuff. You know what I mean? But we were talking for a little bit, and I was honest with him. I said, I'm a paranormal investigator. You know, I said, we're talking, and he never acted different after that, which I was surprised. I was kind of like worried to say the paranormal stuff and bring the paranormal stuff up because it's so taboo. But I said it. I didn't care. I said I have a paranormal brew. I told him about paranormal brew. I told him I investigate. I told him some of the experience that I had in Gettysburg.
Hmm.
He didn't poo-poo it away. He didn't say, "Oh my God, that's cool." You know what I mean? But he didn't look at me like I was crazy. So I don't know if he was like just not engaging in that part of it because
Yeah, that I don't know.
I don't know. But
I know there's a few rangers and also tour guides that I know that when you say the word paranormal, they'll just stop, be like, okay, I don't want to talk to you. I'm like, oh gosh, you're one of those people. Yeah, they will just stop.
I just wish that they knew, because I wish that misconception would go away. Because like I said, we want to keep the history alive. That's what we're doing. We want to keep the history alive, just like you guys are. But you guys are acting it out, and we're really trying to find the stories. We're really trying to connect with those that were there, and hopefully tell a story. We never get to tell a story. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that easy, but that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping to connect with somebody that was there, somebody that died there, somebody that, maybe wants to say something that they didn't get to say before they were killed. I mean, a lot of times when I go out there, I mean, I was at Party Field, and I know Party Field had a lot of stuff happen, and, I was like, I always say whenever I'm in Gettysburg, is there a message you want to give a loved one? Is there something you want? So we are trying to keep the history alive. Like, love the history, just in a different way.
Right.
Yeah,
like I said, that's why I enjoy reenacting. That's why I like portraying the Verdun sharpshooters. Everyone knows about the blue and gray, about the boys in green, or what about the College of Zoo-Offs, 114 Pennsylvania.
The pirate guys?
Right.
What about the pirate guys? I didn't even know about the pirate guys.
And there's also so many different nationalities that fought in the Civil War. Did you know there was 2 Chinese soldiers in the Battle of Gettysburg?
Did not know that.
Yeah, one that was with 70th Pennsylvania, and the other one was in 14th Connecticut.
Interesting. And I know there's. Tell me about the statue of the Native American Indian.
The Tammany Regiment. Yeah. Everyone thinks when they see Chief Tammany, oh, there was Native Americans that fought there. And like, well, no, that was named after Chief Tammany at Tammany Hall. That was in New York. So that was part of something that dealt with General Sickles. But everyone thinks, oh, Chief Tammany, Indian, Native Americans fought there. No, not really. No, it was just named after.
Oh, there was, Devil's Den was an Indian reservation at one point.
Yeah, they're I guess there was some sort of an Indian war during that time, and they actually found a hatchet underneath the stones.
Yeah. And Devil's Den got its name from the Native American Indians that were there because they called it Devil's Den.
Yeah.
Because,
Even though people think it's called because of a snake, but it was not.
well, that's what they called the snake, the devil, the black snakes.
Mm-hmm.
And they would hide. I have seen black snakes. Once I saw a black snake there.
Yeah, there's like a hole or anything, and they consider that the den. That's hence why it's called Devil's Den. But yeah, there's so many myths about that. Yep.
But do you see, like, he's into the paranormal, like that's stuff that like we love to know. We love to keep the history alive. So now it's like, okay, this is awesome. You know what I mean? Like, this is new information. I never knew it either, and I've been going there for how long and investigating. And then here's something that people can take with them and go to these places and maybe try to communicate with them.
Definitely.
Maybe the Chinese soldiers don't talk back because they don't understand us. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, and that's the stuff that I think is important. I wish the historians and the reenactors and all that stuff would kind of give us a little slack and maybe help us out a little bit. You guys could dress up and go out there with us. I think that you guys would be great. You know, I don't want to say bait, but if there's spirits out there and you guys are dressed up like Civil War soldiers, who knows? Maybe activity would happen.
I've gone on the battlefield in my uniform and everything but black powder and caps. I brought my rifle with me and everything.
I think what needs to happen is there's got to be like a round table of like the head of the reenactors, the head of the historians, and then somebody from the paranormal to represent and just have it out. And then be like, ask me what you want to ask me. You ask me what you want to ask me. You ask me what you, and let's work together because we could probably make so much more progress. You know, reenacting might get bigger, you know, because people might be more apt to do reenacting because they're hoping that might help them get closer with the paranormal side of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then the reenactors might want to say, hey, I want to be a part of that paranormal thing because now I can get my regiment out there. People might come see us reenact even more. Like, that's why it's really sad that, you know, that they don't see the opportunities there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, there's some that do, and there's some that don't. It's just got to find the right regiment that will actually open up and talk.
Who calls it costumes? Costumes to me are like Halloween costumes. I say uniforms.
No, they're not costumes at all. I mean, they're actual uniforms.
Yeah, they're uniforms, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they're expensive.
Tell me about it. Yeah, I know.
Expensive.
It's a very expensive. Everyone calls it a hobby. I mean, to me,
exactly.
I don't consider it as a hobby.
Right.
I do it because I enjoy it. And
well, it's a lifestyle, right?
It is.
It's a passion. Mm-hmm. Just like paranormal paranormal to me is not a hobby. I hate when people, just like you, I hate people call it a hobby. It's not a hobby.
No, it is a lifestyle, and it's
a lifestyle. It's hard work.
Yep.
It's a lot of work, and it's a passion.
It is. Know? To me, it's like I have another job. I got my normal job, and then my family. That's what we do, reenacting. Our vacations, our trips involves around our jobs and reenacting as well. Especially me doing Vietnam too. That's even more because that takes up more time. And right. It's like, okay, which event am I going to go? Civil War or Vietnam? And a couple of them are on the same weekend this year. So I got to pick which one am I going to do.
Wait a minute. What do you got to pick between?
I'm going to do Vietnam.
No, but what's your other choice?
Civil War.
Where?
There's going to be one on the southern side of Indiana next to Kokomo. They got two events during that time. One is Hartford City, and the other one is right by Kokomo area. So that one, I'm going to do Kokomo. That one is a very interesting one. So
I think at least the paranormal community needs to work together to really try to understand the paranormal. I feel there's too much paranormal competition going on with some. Oh, for sure.
It's a brutal area, just like the Civil War itself. It's brutal. I mean, I've taken the guide exam twice, and just listening to people after we took after I took the exam, Lee will know this. My hand hurt like hell afterwards. I couldn't even hold a bottle of beer afterwards because it was all handwritten.
Oh.
So, like Jess says, she had babies around her because we were like, oh, my hand hurts and everything. But we were just going around the table asking, comparing notes. And if I say one wrong thing, oh my gosh, I get my head blown off.
Yeah.
And another one's like, no, you're wrong. And this other one's like, no, you're right. It's like, it is so brutal out there. Just like the Paranormal Road. Everyone is going after each other. Okay. One group will go after another one saying, oh, you did this wrong, or that's not EVP, that's not an orb, that's dust. I mean, it's horrible. I mean,
right. No, I know. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I'm not ignoring you. I'm live on TikTok too. So I was just making sure that you could see us. That's all.
Oh, I thought it was one of your cats.
No. Well, Eris is in here, but he's snoring away.
He's not staring at you like he always does?
No, he's under my jacket. He's snoring. He's sleeping, snoring.
He's not staring at you like he always does?
I don't know. Leah's asking a question.
What Civil War nurse wrote Blades of Grass?
What was she talking about? The Wheatfield?
I know it.
That.
Hurry up, Jess. Google, Jess. Google.
I know it.
Yeah, that. Not coming to my head right now. Then again, I just got off work too, so I mean.
That was on the test. Oh.
No, that was probably one of them. I can tell you. I can tell you the very first.
What women?
He was
a Civil War nurse?
Yeah, he was an interesting person.
Carolina.
Yeah, he was.
Wow, that's interesting. So when I lived in Laurel Springs, New Jersey, 2 streets down from me, Walt Whitman had a summer house in Laurel Springs, New Jersey. And you can tour it, but I never went into it. Maybe I'm going to go look into that. What?
Oh, Jess says Lee's wrong. She says Louisa May. Well, that's what Jess says. I mean, she typed it in. It says Louisa May Alcott. So
there you go.
Lee and Jess can go fight over that one. They do a good job.
He doesn't have to like Gettysburg. No, I know he likes Gettysburg. He is.
He's a brother to me, so I love him to death.
Yeah, no, he's cool.
You should see him in those Hawaiian shirts. My gosh, that's a different story.
No, I'll be in Gettysburg March 3rd through the 6th.
So you won't be going to Ann Arbor? That's the same weekend, I believe.
Right. No, I'm not. There's family stuff going on.
Yeah, you told me. Yep.
Yeah. So I think the treatments keep getting backed up. So I'm not quite sure when that's going to start. So because everything is so uncertain, I just don't want to be that far away from home. Oh, he's changing. Leaves of grass.
Leaves of grass. Okay.
All right, I take it back. You weren't wrong.
No, he was. He can't write.
Jess says he's wrong. He can't write.
But yeah, I'll be there for my. I'm gonna go for my birthday bar crawl.
What's your favorite bar?
Either the pub or the Blue and Gray. Actually, I do like the Mine.
Oh, there's many stories about the mines.
I also like the Dobbins Tavern because the Dobbins Tavern has, the rum vengeance, the rum belly.
Yeah, you can only have like 2 of those.
Yeah, well.
Unless you know the bartender very well, but that's like it.
Or you have somebody that doesn't want one and you say, get one. But
Yeah,
there's
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say that there's not a spot there that I won't say that I love.
Oh, definitely.
I will say this though. Tommy's Pizza, I could take it or leave it.
Oh, Tommy's great pizza. Love it.
See, I'm from Jersey, so pizza is
Fried.
so different. Like pizza is so good here that it's hard to go. So, like I get what, like I like it, but I'm not like, oh my God, I gotta eat Tommy's Pizza.
Battlefield fries, just eat it and then go to
Yeah.
the bathroom.
With pizza, I grew up in the Midwest, so the best pizza's in Chicago. Chicago pizza is by far the best.
I've never been, but see, Tommy's is the best pizza in Gettysburg.
Yeah, Gettysburg. Yeah, well, it used to be. There was another one called Dino's at one time. That was really good pizza.
A little bit. I like New York style pizza and Philly pizza and stuff like that. So Tommy's is a little thick and greasy for me, but I'll eat it. You know what I mean? You know what else I think is awesome? Gettysburg Eddie's.
Oh, I love that place.
Gettysburg Eddie's. If you like baseball, Gettysburg Eddie's is like the coolest place to go.
Definitely. Wish they had more Chicago Cubs stuff though, but that's a different story.
But I love the decor. Like there's like stuff made out of bats.
Yeah.
Picture, like it is the coolest. That place is probably the coolest place I think to go. I'm not a big baseball person, but I love.
Gettysburg had a major league ball player.
Yeah.
Eddie Plank.
Eddie Plank, and he was in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
There's pictures up there.
Yeah, pictures there. He's buried in Evergreen.
And they do a vintage baseball game every year.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 20-something teams, and they wear 1863 gear. They play by the rule those same rules. They it's have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
It's like Field of Dreams.
Oh, definitely. That's my favorite movie.
Yep. That's what it's like. That's what you feel like you're looking at. You're like, this is so cool.
Right. Oh, Jess got to say her favorite place is Hunt's Battlefield Fries.
Oh, yes, Jess. Yes, Jess.
Eat it and then go to the field. Don't eat it after the field.
Yeah. Jess had some interesting things happen after she ate that, so that's a different story.
Yeah, I do. I really do. I love I see everywhere there is awesome. I mean, even like I know we got off of the whole ghost thing, but
ghost like fries.
So like you said, a few days ago, I was like, hey, what topics? And you just said we're just gonna wing it. So,
yeah, we're just gonna wing it. About Gettysburg. I learned stuff. Some of the people watching learned stuff, which I think is awesome.
Oh, I'm still learning stuff about Gettysburg. Am I gonna know everything about it? No, hell no.
You know that I was there. Well, you do know this, but I was there 2 summers ago, and we made a wrong turn, which wound up being the right turn. And there's this little cemetery that is a Daughters of the Revolutionary War cemetery. It's gated. It's iron gated in. All women buried in this cemetery, and they're all daughters of the American Revolutionary War.
Yeah,
which I think fantastic.
There's also a African American cemetery in the town as well.
Yes, there is.
Lincoln Cemetery, I believe it's called. It's like a few blocks west of the old wax museum.
I hate him. He is not overrated. I have Chamberlain stuff all over the place. I love him. He is my husband in many lives. Okay? Don't talk about my boy. I love Chamberlain. Here's a good thing. At the 20th Main, I was sitting there because I always go there. And I said, I have an EVP. I was there by myself. Nobody else was there. And I said, are you from Pennsylvania? Thinking globally, not where I was sitting. I just said, are you from Pennsylvania? And the EVP says, no, Maine.
Oh,
So
wow.
when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, so if I would have said, are you from Maine, being at the 20th May Monument, and I got a yes, that argumentably could be anything. It could sound like a yes. I could have moved my arm, I could have done something that made it, and people just made it out to be a yes. But the fact that it was no, and then Maine, to me is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And then I've heard what is it? A drum, like what's the drums called? Where it's like snare drum.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a snare drum up there. Cannon fire. And then I was there with SRS Paranormal, and we were at the 20th May Monument, and I told them, I said, get cigars out and offer tobacco, like offer them a smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And him and my friend Matt and Al, and they were there, they witnessed the whole thing. So Matt and Al are there, they're getting their cigars out, and they're talking amongst each other, but we could hear them, and we were all right. There's only 4 of us. And Matt or Al said they're in the box, and then Matt said the box, but in between that, I heard it with my bare ear. There was a male saying the box. So it was like Al said the box, and then you hear the box, and he goes, the box. So I said, did somebody just say the box twice? And they're like, no, we just said, I have it all on record. I have the whole thing on record. I said, no, nobody. I said, they were like, no, nobody said the box. I stopped the audio. I had to rewind it to hear it. And sure enough, you hear Al say, I got to get the box. And then you hear the box. And then Matt said, the box? You can tell the difference. Like, it was. And then you hear me go, did one of you guys just say the box again? And they're like, no, what are you talking about? So it's definitely intelligent, mostly. Dustin's here. Hey, Dustin.
Hey, Dustin.
My Gettysburg reenactment hero. Appalachian Brewery is amazing. Hands down, yes, I agree. During the summertime, great atmosphere. The pierogies are amazing. And I'm not going to lie.
No, those things are nasty.
Oh, my God, I love them. But I'm not going to lie. Everything they make, from beer to whiskey to whatever else they got going on over there, they know what they're doing because everything is delicious.
Usually I get their root beer. Love their root beer.
Yes, no, you are. He's saying, good to see you, Mark. I'm actually going to be working. I'm helping Dustin. I'm going to be working the reenactment. I'm going to be so happy to be a part of it. I'm so excited that he's going to let me help out because going all these years, and watching it and listening, and just seeing what the reenactors, the 150th was amazing. That was amazing. And the town did that so well. You wouldn't have known. We were leaving and the GAC, there was a GAC guy standing there and they had like a ticker that was counting the cars. Mm-hmm. He was like 93,000. I was like, what? He's like 93,000 cars. He's like, you're the 93,000th car. And I was like, holy shit. But you never knew it.
Yeah, I don't think Gettysburg will have another 135th anniversary. Of all the years, that one has probably be the best. They had over 30,000 reenactors.
Where at the
that one.
150th?
The 135th anniversary.
Oh, the 150th was amazing.
Yeah, but I know the 135th, that had the most reenactors ever.
Even cavalry?
Yeah. 30,000 cavalry, artillery, infantry, you name it. For some odd reason, that was the biggest one ever.
Listen, Dustin, baby steps. Okay, we start out. People are like, you start out, you make, and then you just keep getting bigger and bigger. That's all. That's it. It's going to happen. The reenactments are amazing. I love them. I'm so excited about it. It's just like when they closed Little Round Top and they said they were going to stop doing the reenactments. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
I could not believe. I literally cried. I cried. I'm not going to lie. I cried. So when I found, that's how I met Dustin, because I saw these lives starting and he was like, I'm going to take over the reenactments. And I was like, oh my God, he answered my prayers. So yeah, we need donations. Well, Dustin's going to be coming on Paranormal Brew to promote it. So hopefully. Oh, you did. So did I. Yep. I miss it. I can't. Well, we've been on for an hour and a half.
Oh, we're going to keep going.
I know. I mean, I can't really pick. You know what my second favorite spot is, to be honest with you? The Eisenhower farmhouse.
I know you're going to hate me, but I've never been there.
You need to go.
And I've never been to Sachs Bridge either.
Sachs Bridge is, I mean, it's cool because it's a covered bridge, but it's not owned by the federal.
Yeah.
It's not owned federally. So people can go there at all hours of the day and the night. And the people that live around there, like the kids, I don't want to say the people, but the kids. And when I say kids, I mean like the teenagers that are
the high schoolers, the college kids.
Yeah, that think they're cool because they're playing loud music and drinking and smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of ruined it.
Yeah. That's probably the reason why I don't go there. I mean, I would like to, because that was the bridge that Lee took in his retreat. But getting there by yourself is impossible because there's always someone there. So,
Mark, are you coming to the PCWA event?
What does that stand for?
That says the reenactments.
Okay. Is that going to be probably around 4th of July weekend, around that era?
It's the weekend before. So it's June 5th. No, June. Oh, I know this. It's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's June. It's the last weekend in June. The 23rd through the 25th.
I got to check my calendar and see if I'm able to.
Oh, you should be there, Mark.
Yeah, tell my job that. So I'll see what I can do, because I know my vacation time is dwindling because of all the events I'm going to, plus family vacations and stuff. But I'll see what I can do to get out there. So.
Oh, Lee's mad at you.
Well, hopefully, if you can get some Berdan guys, I don't want to be the only one like I always am around here. I'm always the only green guy here.
So Lee says, I think the reason paranormal gets a bad rap is because people dabble in stuff and don't know what they're doing.
That is true.
But that's very little people. I mean, there's hobbyists, just like there's hobbyists in reenacting. Just like there's novice in reenacting. They don't know what they're doing either, technically, right? So, I mean, that's everywhere, but that doesn't mean, and if you don't believe in the paranormal, then why do you care what we're doing?
You know, when I started paranormal, I didn't know what I was doing either. I didn't have much anything going on. I just went out there and just whatever. I mean, and then I started doing more research, gathering equipment and everything. And then have done over 50 investigations. But my first 2 to 3 investigations, we were green. We didn't know what we were doing.
Right. So I mean, most of the people that investigate, most of the people, I would say, all right, maybe 75% that know they know what they're doing. You know what I mean? There are people start somewhere. They have to start somewhere. I was a hobbyist. I was a novice. I was an enthusiast at one point, you know, and Gettysburg was the reason I am where I'm at right now with it, because I had my first experience there, you know? So, I mean, I hate that we're just so frowned upon, because
Right.
we learn so much from people that do living history and people that do the reenactments and people that we could learn so much. You know what I mean? But, and that's why I just hate it that it's, so Barry says, why? So what are they? So they're closing Little Round Top. And I think Lee said you can still hike up Big Round Top, but I don't know how to get there to hike up Big Round Top. But they do leave a portion of it where you can actually get to the bottom. You can walk. It's a far walk. You don't think it's far because you normally drive it, but when you walk it, it's far. But you walk from where the picnic area is and you go down around, you come around, you go up. Like you would normally go up to Little Round. You go past the 20th May Monument to go up to Little Round Top. You can't see the 20th May Monument, but you can go to the bottom of the hill there, and that's as far as you can get. So you can see the 20th Main Monument, but you just can't go. So I don't know how. Oh, through Devil's Den. Okay. But yeah, so they're closing it because they're renovating it, and they are adding parking for buses, but they are also fixing the eroding walkways and stuff like that. I just hope they don't touch my rock, because then I'm gonna have to fight somebody. They better not touch my rock. I thought there was another question. Maybe not. Okay. But yeah, so yeah, they did have Devil's Den closed, and some of Devil's Den is still a little closed off, but you can still go there and walk around.
I know they redid all the walkways, the paths. I think that was the main, Devil's Den. I think that was the main reason why they closed it, because the paths was starting to deteriorate and everything else.
Yeah. I mean, I have found another place to go. I have found another place to go watch the sunset, thank God, but it's not the same. You know, I still get to see the sunset, but it's not the same as being on my rock at Little Round Top, which I'm okay with no, I'm not okay with it. I'm lying, but I have to be okay with it, right? Until it reopens. Oh, here's the other question. Do you get more feedback on EVP from the north or the south? You know, I honestly, when I think about it, the intelligent EVPs that I've gotten have been north. Again, we're in Pennsylvania though. So, you know, and like I said, when I was at the 20th Maine, I got no Maine. And when I was at East Calvary Battlefield, that was all the way back behind the monument where Jeb Stuart's, the whole thing, that big monument is. And there's a Pennsylvania monument behind it back there. There's a lot of, I got a lot of union interaction. I'm trying to think if I've ever, I don't know, because the other times you just don't know.
I've had about both. When I was doing investigation around Devil's Den next to the snipers area, snipers pit, I said, "Are you? Is there anyone from the north or south?" And I heard the word south.
Oh, I think the
Oh.
creek bed was Confederate. And
I know the Confederates ran the town after the first day, and they kept it until. So I mean, but yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I really don't know if stuff I heard was from the north or south. It could be either or.
Yeah. And like I said, sometimes you get an answer. Like I get mostly intelligent stuff from Gettysburg, which is crazy when you think about it. A place like that you think would be more residual stuff happening,
Mm-hmm.
or you would get more residual. But the thing is I think, and I've always said this, I think they're there because I think they love the people that come to honor them and see that people come from all over the world to go to Gettysburg. You know what I mean? It's the heartbeat of our nation. I mean, so I think the people that come there keep them there, and not in a negative way or a bad way. They love seeing people
Mm-hmm.
and honoring them and respecting them and wanting to learn their stories, and that is where history and paranormal should collide, but it doesn't, because you history freaks hate us. And I say that in a loving way. Oh, that's not fair. It's two different things, my rock. If I build a tiny house on my rock and live there, I would live there. My rock. I do love Ike's house, though. I do love that house. Greg Calvary Shaft. Yes.
Yeah, it's on the East Calvary battlefield.
I know, I'm immature. I always crack up when I read it because the shaft. And here's another fun fact, and correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, that's cool. Look at it'd be my rock. I'm sorry. And then Ike's house. Yes. I forget what I was going to say. What was I about to say?
Probably something about the shaft.
Oh, Mead's Horses Balls, the monument. Those of every horse monument in that park, you can barely see balls on any of the horses. Mead's Horses Balls are humongous.
I'm not even going to go there.
They're huge. Anybody that has not been to Gettysburg or will go to Gettysburg and you've never taken notice, I want you to take notice. Yes, Old Baldy. And I bet you they called him that for a reason. Right? He had big balls. He outlived his owner. What was he, shot 9 times? He's like 50 Cent. He was like shot 9 times and he didn't go down, But when you look at the monument, the balls are huge. I'm like, wow, they really are saying something here. Oh yeah, isn't it true? I heard both. I heard it was true, then I heard it wasn't true.
What is?
That the horse, 1 leg or 2 legs, depicts if the rider was killed or wounded, or the horse or something.
That is the biggest myth ever. I mean,
so.
there's no truth at that, because if you go to D.C., you can see George Washington's on a horse facing the White House, and he's got 2 legs up. He survived the war. So yeah, that's a huge myth. So.
Yeah, people ask us, it's not an UGG. I mean, I think it's a fair question, because
it is, because everyone thinks, and I tell people, yeah, it's been debunked, and it's just a big myth. I don't know who started that or not, but yeah, it's just a big myth.
He said, I thought it was just the Gettysburg thing.
No. So
Yeah. Here's something though. Meade's monument faces Lee's monument. They strategically did that. You know, because where Lee's monument is, that's where they walked to go to the Union, you know, they walked Pickett's Charge, and where Meade's monument is, so they're like facing each other, and you can see it, you know what I mean, when, you know, on a good day. You know, I don't know this question. It's like the shoes question. I don't know what that means.
everyone thinks the Battle of Gettysburg started with shoes because the town of Gettysburg had this huge ass shoe building, shoe store. That's not true.
I've never heard that.
Really? Yeah, that's like the main thing. Everyone thinks, oh, it started with shoes. No, it was because of the road system. There was all these roads that led in and out of Gettysburg. I mean, the three roads that was on the southern portion of Gettysburg led one to Baltimore, one to D.C., and the other one went down to Emmitsburg and stuff. And then one went to Philadelphia, one went to Harrisburg. So that was pretty much why Gettysburg was fought there, because of the road system.
Well, and they met there by accident. There was so much stuff that happened there by accident.
Yep.
Like Jeb Stuart and Custer they didn't know they were going to meet each other. They bumped into each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but if Jeb would have won that against Custer, Jeb would have came behind the Union line at Pickett's Charge.
Yeah, because the third day battle was in a 3-point section. First was Battle of Culp's Hill. The second was actually there was a 4 points on that one. 4 phases on third day. Culp's Hill, Pickett's Charge, East Cavalry, and South Cavalry. South Cavalry started just as Pickett's Charge was ending. That was like the very last of the battle.
I'm gonna have to go there. I'm gonna have to make it a point to go there. I always heard that it was supplies. I never heard shoes. I just heard that they knew it was a town that had supplies, and the Confederates needed the supplies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I think and I remember hearing Saints. I remember hearing them say, I remember reading somewhere that Lee was like, if you come across the enemy, do not engage or whatever. But they did anyway, and shit just hit the fan after that.
Pretty much, yeah. General Heath's division, yep.
Yeah. So I never heard about shoes, but I did hear supplies, which, okay, why wouldn't you go there for supplies? But there's so much in that little town.
There is. Like I said, I've been going there for years, and I'm always finding new stuff. They say for an average person to soak up everything, it takes about 3 or 4 days to see everything.
I've been going since 2007, and I still haven't soaked up everything.
Oh, I know.
And I go at least once a month.
Well,
but I got the coordinates, so.
We can always trade areas. You can live over here and drive the 10, 11-hour drive if you like.
What happened?
You can always switch areas. You can drive the 10, 11-hour drive if you like.
You know what's funny? This is how psycho I am about Gettysburg. Whenever somebody tells me where they live, my first thought is I wonder how far away from Gettysburg that is. That's my first thought. My very first thought, because I think 2.5 hours is way too far. But at least it's only 2.5 hours. But I have a lot of audio from Gettysburg. I have a lot of EVPs. I've had a lot of experiences. I've seen things at East Cavalry. I've seen things and heard things at Pickett's Charge. I've seen and heard things at the Party Field and the Wheatfield. Peach, never the Peach Orchard, but I love the Peach Orchard. The Inn at Lincoln Square, I've stayed there the most, but that place I've had Class A EVPs, doors slam open or doors fly open, all kinds of stuff. it's endless there. The activity in Gettysburg is crazy. I actually saw. I don't know if this is World War One or two. You can correct. I just don't. I'm not up on a lot of the military history, but I love military history, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were standing where the National Soldiers Cemetery is, in front of the hearth, the gate, looking across the street, it looked like one of the soldiers that wore the green hats with the thing hanging down right here, and the gun was over here. And he just, as I saw him for like I have chills right now because I saw him and I was like, oh my God, do you see that? He walked through this. I didn't see him walk through the wall. I didn't see him walk through the stone wall, but he walked through it because he didn't go up over it. Like he didn't change his height or anything. He just kept walking straight. And I saw it for about 3 seconds. And I normally don't see anything, but I saw this. And it stopped me in the middle of the street because I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, did you see that? I could even see the strap hanging, and the guns up here. And he had like that round hat, and I just go, oh my God. And as soon as I saw him, he was gone. Sounds like World War One. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, they had Camp Colt there right on the edge of Pickett's Charge next to the Bryan farm.
They did.
And then another interesting thing is they actually had German POWs there in Gettysburg, stationed, housed there. And then they were actually on the battlefield cleaning it up, working on it. And a lot of people were showing the German POWs that actual Germans were here fighting in America, fighting for the North. Because most of the 11th Corps was all German.
Oh.
German and Polish, a lot, because if you read the order of battle, all the generals, the colonels and captains were all Polish last names, German. There was some distinguished German units. 82nd Illinois was all German.
Wow. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and another place that not a lot of people know about is Costner Ave, the memorial, the mural. I'm sorry, not the memorial, the mural on Costner Ave.
Yep.
That supposedly was a pretty nasty battle, a little skirmish right there.
Yeah, that was like the last resort for the Union. That one brigade was the very last for everyone to hightail back to Cemetery Hill, and they were pretty much decimated. Was it the 154th New York or something? I think that's with Amos Huddleston. He was part of the Coster Avenue area, and that's where he's got a monument close to where the fire department is at, where he had that the picture of those 3 kids. That was Amos Huddleston's kids.
Well, that mural is magnificent, first of all. Secondly, you can totally feel, and when I say feel, I don't mean feel medium-wise and psychic-wise. I just want to throw that disclaimer out there.
Mm-hmm.
But you can sense or intuitively, I'm just going to say feel for lack of a better description, but they're there. I feel like they're just there. They're loving and maybe it's just me loving it. I don't know. I know that Gettysburg is one of the most haunted places in America. You hear that so much about places. You hear that so much about areas and places and homes, but there isn't. Now, when you say, and this is me, but battlefield to me is the entire town.
Yeah, very much.
Say, oh, how do you get to the battlefield? I'm like, you're on it.
Yeah. Well, just like a lot of people think, Quality Inn, that was all battlefield. Quality Inn Hotel, that's battlefield.
There's been stories
Best
from
Western,
there.
that's battlefield too. Yeah.
All of it. All of it. Like there's been stories from the Quality Inn. People, I mean, there was a guy that said that him and his son were sitting on the porch out back and saw what he described would be a residual to me if I were, because like they didn't notice them, but they were like, they were dressed, they were Union soldiers, and they were like running up that hill back behind the Quality Inn, you know, and he said he saw them and it looked like they were in the middle of a skirmish or a battle or something like that, you know.
Mhm.
There's
Pretty much the border of the battlefield in a town is pretty much where the Soldiers National Cemetery, where the 55th Ohio Monument is at, and also where the 73rd Ohio, which that regiment was President Nixon's grandfather. He was a drummer there.
wait. Oh.
Yeah. President Nixon, as a relative, is buried in the Soldiers National Cemetery in the Ohio area plot. Also, General Patton's grandfather was killed in Pickett's Charge.
Really?
Toswell Patton, I think, was one of his uncles.
Well, that's something I didn't know. Is that something known?
Yes.
Does everybody know this but me? Well, I was at, and you know this, but I was in Birdsboro a couple weekends ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Birdsboro is my new favorite spot next to Gettysburg. There's so much history in this town. It's insane. And Abraham Lincoln's grandfather's house is there. Mordecai Lincoln. And also George Washington stayed there. So this is like going back, like the house is there. Daniel Boone's homestead is there. And you have the Byrd Mansion, and then you have the Mounds Jones houses and the Douglas or the Swedes house. And then you have the White Horse Tavern. The White Horse Tavern, George Washington supposedly stayed at.
Mm-hmm.
George Washington's been everywhere, by the way. He's a hoe. I say that lovingly. He's been everywhere.
Now, since we're at the top of the Lincoln, I got a question for you. Do you think Lincoln had his Gettysburg speech inside the cemetery, Soldiers National Cemetery? True or false?
I'm going to say false.
Correct. It was actually outside in the outside the Evergreen Cemetery.
So it's in the Evergreen Cemetery.
Yes.
Where all the people of the town are buried. And a little fun fact, there is a Kerper buried in that cemetery.
Yep, you show me the picture.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's right on the border, yeah.
Yeah, the last time I was there, Lee and I were over there and trying to pinpoint pretty much close to the location where Lincoln probably had his speech at. But yeah, it was not in the Soldiers National.
Well, it's funny. You know why I know that is because the signs inside there are like, it isn't, this is where Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address. It's, we believe it was about 300 yards from here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So to me, that's like, they don't know where it was at, because why wouldn't they put a marker where it was at?
Right.
If they knew for sure.
Oh, just like a lot of people think, all those big trees were all witness. There was only one witness tree in the cemetery.
There's only one witness. Those trees are humongous.
Yeah, those are not witness trees. There's only one, and it's a honey locust. So, and it's close to where the Lincoln bust is at, where the Lincoln Monument, where they say where he conducted his speech at. Mm-hmm. There's an odd shaped tree. That is the honey locust. That is the only witness tree inside the cemetery. Rest of those big ones were not there.
Okay, myth fact or legend. The witness tree at Devil's Den, is that really a witness tree?
Could have been a sapling. To me, I don't think it is. I don't think it was.
Because my whole life since 2007 going there, I've heard it was a witness tree, and then like a couple years ago, I started hearing that was questionable.
Yeah, to me, I've seen I've done the same thing. I've done research to see if that was actual witness tree or not. I've seen pictures, and it could be a sapling at that time, but that big ass tree, I don't think was there. There's witness stumps all around, but there's 2 stumps right next to the sniper's nest and devil's den. Those stumps were there. Those were witness stumps. But the big tree, I don't think it is. And I'm sure there's people out there telling me I'm an idiot, but I've done research on it. And I don't think it is a witness tree at all. And there's a person out there that does research on all these trees, and yeah, I question some of them.
Pete, the National Cemetery didn't exist then. They just started burying guys. Well, it's to my understanding that they were just burying, unless it was just the Confederates, they were just burying where they laid.
Pretty much, yeah. The cemetery started just right after the battle. And
had to.
Cemetery Hill stood out like a sore thumb. And it was bare. There was a few trees and stuff, but yeah, that was like key to the southern part of the battle. General Howard saw this area, and he knew this was key. So so when he got in there, he left a brigade to stay there to keep an eye on it and fight for it. And that's how he won the Medal of Honor, was because of Cemetery Hill. But yeah, the cemetery came up just right after.
I mean, they were almost putting monuments up right after too, weren't they?
Some of them. The very first monument was the 1st Minnesota, and it's more of like a vase, like a urn, and that was in the Soldiers National Cemetery. It was the very first one. But the very first monument to be erected on the battlefield was the 2nd Massachusetts, next to the Indiana Monument by Spangler Spring.
Oh, okay.
That was the very first monument.
Which, by the way, is another creepy area to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not creepy in a bad way, but another area that kind of, I feel like I need to spend more time there, because I feel like I will connect with something being at Spangler Springs. I don't know why.
What's funny is when I was doing research on the monuments, and a lot of them were erected on September 11th.
Really?
Yeah, of all dates. It's funny. A lot of them were like September 11th, 1885, or 1888, or 1900. A lot of them were that. A lot of them were that date.
Really?
Yeah, that
is strange.
I was very surprised on that one.
That's interesting, Marky.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder. So, is there somewhere where there's a list of that? Because I want to see that. I want to see how many there are.
There's a good website out there called stonesentinels.com. Mm-hmm. And this guy has every marker, tablet, monument, everything that you can think of. It has everything. And then he also does other battlefields too, like Monocacy and Antietam and everyone else. And this guy's done his research. He has everything on there.
Yeah, but I only care about Gettysburg. No, I'm kidding.
That's where I got a lot of my research from, is from that website when I started.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up, because I want to see that. That's interesting. Coincidence? I think not.
Right. But yeah, I got a lot of my stuff from that one, and I got a huge binder, has every monument out there, and that's how I studied to become a tour guide.
That's
and
awesome.
Every time I go to Gettysburg, I bring my whole binder. I mean, this whole binder right here look how thick it is.
That's what I was saying to you earlier. I said, don't you want binders of stuff and research? And you're like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. It's in my head.
Oh, when you talk about cemeteries, when it comes to Gettysburg, I got binders like crazy.
Yeah.
But that's just for that battlefield only.
Yeah.
But when I do my research on cemeteries and stuff, I have just a notepad.
Well, why is it that you enjoy to do more of the Vietnam and stuff if you're so in love with Gettysburg?
Um,
Why do you find that you want to do the Vietnam reenactments more and not Civil War?
Probably because I was always was that was my second war. I always was passionate about, studied about it. Not to
Maybe it
mention,
was helping my uncle. My uncle was in Vietnam.
my dad was 2 points away from going to Nam. My dad's buddy was killed in Vietnam in 1970.
I wonder if my uncle was like he was in combat in Vietnam. Like, some of the pictures he shows me, I like honestly, like there was like people in the cages and stuff, and like so I saw some pictures where I was like, oh my god. And
Yeah.
normally people that have done stuff like that, like and that's the uncle Todd that is from Birdsboro, my Uncle Keith Allen.
Mhm.
He was in Vietnam. But he has all kinds of pictures and he talks about it. That was the one I told you about. You said we honor a Vietnam vet at whatever. That's my Uncle Keith. He'll talk about it. He talks about it.
Yeah, some do, some don't.
A lot
but,
don't.
Yeah, a lot of them don't.
And he does. And it's almost like when he talks about it, it's almost like I'm embarrassed to say this, but it's almost like he's like there.
Mhm.
He uses words that are not politically correct nowadays. You know what I mean? But
Definitely.
but it's almost like they kind of snap there and then they snap back.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've had a lot of Vietnam. I've talked to a lot of Vietnam vets, and I tell them what I do. Some of them thanks me for what I do. I get a few that's like, "Why do you do that?" It's like that's a war I don't want to talk about. Why are you on it? Why are you portraying it? Why do you want to be us? And I tell them like because I enjoy it. I want to honor you guys because when they got home, they were spit upon. They did not care. I mean, because they call them baby killers because that was the very first war that we kind of lost to, and they did not get the recognition like soldiers do now. And it just
Oh God, yes.
it's just heart. It's just saddening, and
I
that's why we do it. And it's just a 1% that is anti. Everyone else they enjoy it.
which honestly I can understand of going through something so traumatic.
Yeah. And the stories alone they tell me, I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, there's stories that I could tell you on here, and it'll just be like, what? It's just, yeah. There was one time I was at a Vietnam event, and we were doing patrols right outside a Vietnam memorial with all the Vietnam vets. I was in my airborne unit uniform, and I had one airborne guy came up to me and just hugged me and thanked me and started crying. He's like, "Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for honoring us." So yeah, that's one part I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Plus playing with the guns too. It's a whole lot of fun, and plus black powder. It's messy. I don't have to deal with it playing with my M16 and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But also flying in Huey helicopters, that's fun as well. Jumping out of them, and I enjoy it.
I want to go for a ride in a Thunderbird or a Blue Angel. But I hear you have to train to do that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because it's like so like, you're not used to it. Like you're so fast and so like your body just can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
But I love military history, planes and all that. I love it all.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I know a lot of people tells me why I haven't done World War II. I'm like, I'm not sure because I had both my grandfathers fought in World War II. My
grandfather did.
One of my grandfathers was second wave Omaha Beach. That was my mom's side, and my dad's side. My grandfather was Third Army Patton.
Oh, really?
Yep. And he liberated a concentration camp, but he wouldn't tell me which one it is.
Oh.
That's all he told me was that he liberated one. He wouldn't tell me. So I'm going on research from his unit and trying to find out where he was at, what concentration camp, but he was all over the place.
Wow.
And then my wife's birthstone is a citrine. He actually got that from Morocco area in North Africa.
Wow.
Because when he passed, I found a lot of these gems, and I was looking at them, and then my wife, born in November, and that's a citrine, and I'm like, huh, that's pretty cool. So I had that customized for her.
Oh, look at you. That's sweet. That's amazing. What else was I going to say? Well, I think we should probably 2 hours. We've been on here for 2 hours. Wow. Time
And
flies when you're talking about your favorite place on earth.
I told you it wasn't going to last over an hour.
Yeah, I know. I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank
Always.
you guys are great. Everybody was great. Thanks for being patient and listening about Gettysburg stories and those stories and history and all that stuff. And spread the word to the historians, please, and the reenactors. We love the history. We're not trying to get rid of the history. We want to bring the history to life. We want to communicate with the history and hopefully, make it come back alive. I love World War II U.S. Navy history, especially as compared to Second Pearl Harbor. Yeah. Yeah, my grandfather was in the Navy in World War II. Easy in the history nuts. We like goes to. I know. We love those. That's what I'm saying. The two should probably help each other out. But that's just my opinion. All right. Well, it's about that time, Mark.
Yeah, sadly.
It was very nice. Awesome having you on.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you for sharing all your stuff with us. And
like I said, I could keep going on and on. I still got a lot more.
Oh, I know. We'll do another show.
Oh, definitely.
We definitely will do another show. Anytime you want to talk about Gettysburg, I am in.
Oh, definitely. I'll have to say the word Gettysburg. Okay.
I know. You get I'm like, yes. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, so you probably fought with Patton because he was all Italy.
Yeah. I wonder if any of my family from Italy, because I have half of my family's from Italy, half of my family's from Germany.
Yeah, same here. I had family that fought in 116th Panzer Division in and then I had other family on my dad's side that hid Jews in Poland.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't know what my family did in Germany. I don't think I want to know. And I don't know what my family did in Italy, but I do know, when they came over on the boat and, to New York and stuff like that. So I know from that far, but again, I want to thank you so much. Somebody saying to bring you back. He'll be back. Trust me. He's a part of the brew. He's one of my.
I am not going anywhere.
Yeah, he's one of my best friends. So he's always going to be around. And I want to thank everybody for joining us and asking questions. You guys rock. And I will see you guys next Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Good night, everyone. Maybe.